Isaiah takes us back in time in his prophetic word, chapter 58. He is opening himself to allow the voice of God to speak through him and to ask the people a question. Why do you fast? Why do you fast, but you don't see? Why do you humble yourselves, but you do not notice? You serve your own interest on your fast day and you oppress all your workers. And it's true what Isaiah is saying. And what Isaiah is allowing God to speak through him, that when they quarrel and fight and strike and act in selfish ways and do injustice and then yet refrain from food and put off on sackcloth and ashes, it's a contradiction. They're contradicting their own beliefs. They're contradicting their own lives. They're contradicting their own religious behavior. So in verse 6 of chapter 58, the question comes up because God poses it. Is not this the fast I choose, to loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to bear every yoke? God goes on. This fast is for sharing your bread with the hungry and bringing the homeless poor into your house. When you see the naked, to cover them and not to hide yourself from your own kin. We take up at verse 8, and there's a word of hope that goes with this admonition and condemnation. When you get it right, God says, then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly. Your vindicator shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry for help, and he will say, Here am I. But verse 9, part B says, if you remove the yoke from among you, the pointing of finger, the speaking of evil, if you offer your food to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like noonday. The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your needs in parched places and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water whose waters never fail. Your ancient ruins shall be rebuilt. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations. You shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to live in. How would you like that reputation in this world and in the world to come? How would you like to be known? As a restorer, as a repairer, as a rebuilder of ancient ruins? Would to God that we would have yoke removers among us, that we would have and be the people who share, the people who speak out against injustice, the people who work for justice, the people who love God's poor, God's people, God's oppressed, broken people in this world, and build them up, honor them, dignify them, and in so doing, honor and dignify and glorify God, and bring glory and light in and through our own lives. Amen. Secret wisdom and hidden glories. In 1 Corinthians 2, 6 and 9, Paul says, but we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom of God, which God ordained before the world unto our glory. But as it is written, eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither hath it entered into the heart of man, the things that God has prepared for them that love him. The hidden wisdom of God, revealed in Jesus, taught by Jesus, and discerned by spiritual men, is offered to those for whom it is prepared. It is the wonder of God's purposes and glory. It is shared on a need-to-know basis, and we need to know. And what we do know is that there is much that we cannot know. We have a glimpse, if we have gained it through spiritual sight. We have the earnest of the Spirit. We're gladdened by the promises from God Himself. But still, we see through a glass darkly. Only dim reflections illumine our insight into eternity, for as yet it is still far beyond us, above us, and other than us. It is not that God does not want to show us, it's not that God does not want us to know or desires for us to remain in the dark. It's just that we simply cannot receive the fullness of this knowledge while confined to time, space, and a physical body. That is why what relatively little we know comes by other than intellectual receptors. In the meantime, God is preparing us for the day when we can know perfectly as we are known. There's a coming time when all the secrets will be revealed in that day in an infinite and yet finitely immeasurable amount. Our eyes will be opened, and we shall be eternally with the Lord. Whatever we imagined about God and eternity, heaven and glory in this life will not compare to what He has purposed to share with us. O wondrous, glorious mystery and bliss! By grace the moment we shall not miss. Beyond the veil of time and space, when by His side we take our place.